If you've walked into a kitchen store lately, you've probably noticed that buying a frying pan has become as complicated as buying a smartphone. You aren't just looking for something to cook an egg, you're being sold a lifestyle. You've got the OG black non-stick, the eco-friendly ceramic, and now the rugged, stone-looking granite pans that look like they were carved out of a mountain. The marketing is aggressive. One brand tells you the other is toxic. The other tells you the first one is disposable junk. And the granite one? Well, it just looks really cool. But here's the truth. Most of what you're reading on those colorful cardboard inserts is marketing fluff designed to hide the chemistry. Today, we're going to strip away the labels. We're going to look at the molecules, the heat limits, and the forever chemical history to find out which pan actually belongs in your kitchen. Let Sal explain. Let's start with the king, the veteran, Teflon. Now, Teflon is a brand name. The actual material is a polymer called PTFE that stands for polytetrafluoroethylene. It was discovered by accident in 1938 by a guy named Roy Plunkett at DuPont. He was trying to make a new refrigerant, and instead, he created a white, waxy slip that was so slick, almost nothing in the universe would stick to it. Why is it so slippery? Without getting into a PhD in chemistry, the bond between carbon and fluorine in PTFE is one of the strongest in organic science. The molecules are so satisfied with each other that they have zero interest in bonding with your pancakes. For years, Teflon had a dark secret, PFOA. This was a processing aid used to make the coating. It's a forever chemical. It doesn't break down in nature, and it builds up in your blood. After massive lawsuits and health concerns, PFOA was phased out globally by 2013. Today, if you buy a PTFE pan, it's labeled PFOA-free. But, and there's always a but, it usually uses a new generation of chemicals called PFAS. Are they safer? They leave the body faster, but the long-term jury is still out. The real danger with this pan isn't the chemical leaching into your food while you cook at low heat. It's overheating. If you hit 500 degrees Fahrenheit, the plastic starts to break down. If you hit 660 degrees, it releases fumes that can cause Teflon flu in humans and is, unfortunately, lethal to pet birds. Then came the challenger, ceramic. Around the mid-2000s, people started getting nervous about Teflon. Enter ceramic. It's marketed as natural, green, and toxin-free. But here's a Sal secret for you. Ceramic pans are not ceramic. A real ceramic pot is clay-fired in a kiln. If you made a frying pan out of that, it would shatter if you dropped it, and it wouldn't be non-stick. What we call ceramic cookware is actually a metal pan coated in something called sol gel. It's a solution of silica, basically sand, that is turned into a gel and then cured onto the pan. It's inorganic. No PTFE. No PFAS. From a peace of mind perspective, this pan wins. You can heat it to 800 degrees and it won't release toxic fumes. But, and this is a big one, Mother Nature is a cruel bookkeeper. Ceramic pans are notorious for a short life crisis. We'll talk about why they stop working in just a minute. And now, the new kid on the block. Granite. Or granite stone, or marble finish. It looks rugged, it looks heavy. But let's look under the hood. Granite cookware has zero actual granite in it. The granite name refers entirely to the aesthetic. It's a speckled finish. In reality, 90% of the granite pans you see online are just reinforced PTFE. Think of it as Teflon in a camouflage suit. They take the classic Teflon formula and they mix in tiny particles of minerals or titanium. This does two things. First, it creates that cool stone look. Second, it makes the surface physically tougher. You can often use metal utensils on these, though I still wouldn't, because the peaks of the mineral particles protect the valleys of the non-stick coating. However, there is a catch. Sometimes, a brand will sell a granite pan that is actually a speckled ceramic pan. How do you tell? Look at the bottom of the box. If it says PTFE free, it's a ceramic pan in a stone costume. If it says metal utensil safe and doesn't mention PTFE, it's almost certainly a reinforced Teflon pan. So, granite isn't a new category of science. It's just a better, tougher version of the old science. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. We're going to judge these three, Teflon, ceramic, and granite, on the four things that actually matter to your Tuesday night dinner. Category 1. The Slickness test. If you want to cook a delicate, over-easy egg with zero oil, which one wins? Classic Teflon and its cousin granite are the champions here. PTFE is chemically bored. It doesn't want to react with your food. Ceramic is incredibly slick on day one, maybe even slicker than Teflon, but it relies on a very smooth surface rather than chemical laziness. As soon as that surface gets microscopic scratches, the slickness drops off a cliff. Winner, Teflon, and Granite. This is the most important part of the video. Why do non-stick pans die? Teflon and Granite die because the plastic eventually wears thin or you overheat it and the molecules break apart. But ceramic? Ceramic dies because of something I call the sticky death spiral. Because ceramic isn't perfectly inert like Teflon, tiny amounts of oil can get trapped in the microscopic pores of the silica coating. When you heat the pan again, that oil polymerizes. It turns into a hard, invisible varnish. Now, your food isn't touching the ceramic anymore. It's touching old, sticky oil. You try to scrub it off. You scratch the coating. More oil gets stuck. And within 6 months, your eco-friendly pan is a glorified paperweight. Winner, Granite. The mineral reinforcement gives it the longest life of the three. If you have a pet bird, listen closely. Birds have incredibly efficient respiratory systems. If you accidentally leave a Teflon or Granite pan on a high burner, the fumes will kill a bird in minutes. In humans, it just feels like a bad flu. If you are a high-heat cook who forgets pans on the stove, or if you have pets, ceramic is the only responsible choice. It is chemically stable up to much higher temperatures. Winner, ceramic, by a landslide. Let's talk money. Teflon is the budget king. You can get a decent one for $20. Granite is mid-range. You're paying for the top look and the mineral reinforcement, usually $30 to $50. Ceramic is often the most expensive because it's marketed as a wellness product. You'll see sets for $400 that perform exactly like a $40 set. But here's the Sal math. If a $100 ceramic pan lasts 1 year and a $30 granite pan lasts 3 years, which one is actually greener? The one that stays out of the landfill the longest. Winner, Granite. So, what's the final verdict? If you want the most natural experience and you are a gentle, low-heat cook who doesn't mind replacing a pan every year, go ceramic. If you want a pan that actually works, resists scratches, and doesn't require a degree in pan handling, go with Granite. Just keep the heat at medium and keep the birds in the living room. But, can I tell you a secret? If you really want a timeless kitchen, you're looking at the wrong shelf. This is cast iron. It's 100% natural. It's 100% non-toxic. When you season it with oil, it becomes naturally non-stick. And unlike every other pan on this table, this one will not end up in a landfill in 3 years. In fact, your grandkids will be using this to cook their eggs. Non-stick pans are tools of convenience. They are disposable. And that's okay, as long as you know what you're buying. Don't let the granite name fool you into thinking it's stone, and don't let the ceramic name fool you into thinking it's permanent. They are all just different versions of the same goal, making your morning a little bit easier. So, which team are you on? Are you sticking with the OG Teflon, moving to the speckled granite, or going green with ceramic? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to know how to actually season this cast iron so it's as slick as Teflon, well, that's a video for another day. I'm Sal. Thanks for watching, and thanks for letting me explain.